Welcome to Dodgers Daily. Casey Porter here. So glad that you decided to tune in. Joined by Coach Holt, as I am each and every Wednesday and Friday. Coach, frustrating night last night. Ended up with 9 hits, which it didn't look like we were going to get that many for the longest time. Took the offense forever, but kind of a frustrating game to watch last night. But, hey, it's 1 out of 162, but still, it's a divisional game, and you're coming off of a good game the day before. Kind of a frustrating game last night.
Yes, it was, Kay. I mean, 2 swings, 5 runs, off Yamamoto. I mean, you put yourself in a position when, we got an error to walk, that sort of thing. Those things happen. But, it is frustrating. 2 swings, 5 runs, and the Dodgers chipped away a little bit. Then had the tying run at the plate, go-ahead run, I guess, when Conforto came up. And he hit
the ball hard.
And he hit it hard. So that there's not much you can do there. They did a good job of turning the double play there. So frustrating in the fact that, we're, like you said, 162, you're just there's no cigars for being close in this game. So sure. It is a frustrating game, but, today's another day.
It is. And it's a game to where you just kind of go on to the next day and you continue just to kind of grind on. Boy, that was a great play, and again, also James Outman hit one that had like a expected batting average of like 930 or something. It's like one of the few parks that it would not be a home run. That part of it was frustrating. Ketel Marte made just a great play at second base. Yoshinobu Yamamoto was so close, but so far away. But I got to say about Yamamoto, I think the moral to his story was not even he is as precise and as good as he is at hitting locations and moving the ball. That curveball that he ended, I think the second inning, oh, wow. It's amazing. But he got behind too much last night.
Yeah.
It seemed like he was behind in the count a lot, and then he served up a couple of cutters, and not even he can get away with that sometimes.
No, he just missed a little bit. I was reading some stuff before he went on the air here, and Roberts mentioned that he was just missing a little bit. Thought he had good stuff. Thought he had good life on the fastball, and just missing some spots there. Like you said, big league hitters, good big league hitters, which the Diamondbacks have, and basically every team has, but they really got some good ones, are going to make you pay for those sort of things. So it wasn't necessarily a bad game for him. Consider it a great one. They don't read too much into it. He's pitching on 5 days rest instead of 6. I don't think that's a factor. Roberts didn't think that's. I don't either. He didn't look like he was a guy that, he needs one more day. He never got that feeling with him. It's just the nature of being pitching on the highest level of the world. If you're not, hitting your spots and getting behind a little bit, you always have an opportunity to get hurt, and that's what happened.
Yeah, he didn't walk a guy till the 4th inning?
Yeah.
Haven Smith?
Yeah.
And then he threw the slider that backed up. That was the one I think that got him.
Yeah.
The one he had the 0-2 count, and he threw the slider, which was odd. That's kind of one of those that make you go, huh? Every once in a while, you get so used to watching these guys. And we've seen enough of Yamamoto to this point to where we kind of know what to expect within a couple of inches, even if they're on or off. But that backed up slider that he hit, I can't remember who it was, but on the 0-2 count, that was one of those where you went, wow, I'm not sure I've ever seen that. I thought that was kind of the dagger right before the grand slam.
Yeah, like I said, that was to load the bases. There was interesting time. I guess like I said, error, a hit batsman, and infield single or whatever it was. That it wasn't like he wasn't walking everybody, and they weren't all getting clean base hits off of him. And then next thing you know, you look up. Of course, I don't follow the Diamondbacks for obvious reasons. I know they're good. And they have been good for a couple of years here. So Marino, I think he hit the home run. He had 11 home runs. I guess that was number 12. They got a couple of guys, 10, 11, 12 home runs. So, we talk all the time about the Padres. We know the Giants have been very good starting the season. We just kind of had the Diamondbacks over there and in the background, and you look up, and the Western Division has 4 teams with 20 wins. The Diamondbacks have 20 now. So this division is insane, man. And I think that the Padres have been very good. The Diamondbacks in the World Series 2 years ago, they've been good. And the Giants really did a great job in the offseason improving themselves. Yeah. This thing is insane, man. I mean,
it is.
The sad part about it, not sad, but one of these teams that has a chance of not making the playoffs. I can see, I know that it's happened in previous years where both wild card teams come out of the same division. I don't think there's any doubt that's a real good chance of this year having 3 teams out of the West Division in the playoffs. Your champion and the 2 wild cards, per se. But then you got a pretty good team that's not going to have a chance of getting in it. But that's the way it is.
Yeah.
I go back to the 70s when the big red machine when the National League's the National League. The Dodgers win 102 games one year and don't get in the playoffs because the Reds won 103, something like that. You know, it's crazy. You know, Dodgers probably the second best team in baseball at that time, never got the playoffs the way that it was set up at that time. So
it would have been the Padres last year.
Yeah. Absolutely.
They would have not made the playoffs at all, right? They were easily the second best team.
There's no doubt they're the second best team in baseball. And yes, they wouldn't even been in there. So I go back with some hate of the big red machine. I love Johnny Bench being an Oklahoma Choctaw Indian like myself. You know, I always loved Johnny Bench, 100%. But I hated the big red machine. You know, but what a great team at that during that course of time.
Baseball could be like the cruelest sport in the world. You know, it's why we love it, because first of all, it's that video game that you can never master. You know, like you'd get a video game and you'd work and work and work, and finally, like, you'd beat Mike Tyson, and then you were like, the game wasn't fun anymore because you mastered it. And so baseball is that game. You think you got it mastered, and it knocks you right down on your ass the next day. That's why competitive people love it, because it's a continued different challenge every single day. And it knocks you down. It makes you get back up. It builds character, all that kind of stuff. So I say all that to say it just it's just kind of a weird emotion, because it's like, here you got Yamamoto, who just was unopportunistic. Like, the one chance that the Diamondbacks had to score, they hit a grand slam. They put a 4 spot on the board. And then here's Brandon Pfaadt, who should have given up about 5 runs, and he goes 6.1 innings and doesn't give up any runs. I mean, it was like, if you just watch that game on the hoof, as a Dodgers fan, it's like you're feeling sorry for yourself the whole time you're watching it.
Yeah, that's the nature of the beast. You know, it's the baseball is a humbling game, and nobody ever masters it. You know, we know, although the cliches that aren't really cliches, it's the truth. It's a game of failure. How you handle that sort of thing, and it's unforgiving. You know, that's the thing about it. Baseball's an unforgiving game. Like you said, you hit things on the screws, which the Dodgers did last night. I think 7 outs, you know, were some of the hardest hit balls they had.
Conforto and Outman, too.
Yes.
Conforto twice.
Absolutely. Hit it around the screws, and you get outs, and then you get fisted and hit a parachute out there in the triangle, and you get a base hit. But this, you know, we always heard it, you know, you always tell kids in every walk of life, you get knocked down in the dirt, you get up, you dust yourself off, you get back in there. That's, you know, of course, there's more turf on these high school and college teams anymore, but there's always dirt. If you get knocked down, you get in the dirt.
I would have found it.
Yeah, you definitely would have found it. Had a little milkshake dripping down your shirt too. I've seen that, but you'd have found the dirt. I promise you.
Yeah, I'd have found it.
You're right, Case. And I don't get mad because it teaches on, but when people say, baseball's a boring game, I just kind of grin and go about my way. 1-0 is one of the most exciting baseball games there is, because everything's important. Like you said, it's such a humbling game. How do you deal with failure? That's what determines your success. And that's the closest thing to the game of life that we have. We all have, you know, issues in our life that come up, things that come up, you know, sad times, bad times, things that we have to struggle to fight through. Baseball is in a way that's a game of life. So, you know, not everybody plays baseball, not everybody likes baseball or loves it like we do and the Dodger Dogs do. But you know, it's a great sport. We used to always say that's character builder, you know. As a coach, you're pissed off. Well, we can't hit, we can't play defense. Other than that, everything's good today. You know, we're those guys. But in the big scheme of things, it's such a great game, and that's why we love it.
It absolutely is. And another thing that Yamamoto, I thought it was one of the big reasons why he's just been so dominant. Of course, he's so just precise, but his curveball had in the past, at least last year, got ambushed. That was like the pitch that it was either like the perfect pitch that would get swing and miss, or he'd hang it and it'd get hit for a home run. So his curveball is getting hit, but I know EK mentioned last night, but he's not putting in locations that can get hit for a home run like we saw a couple times last night.
Yep. The
Diamondbacks got a hit on the curveball, but it was like a fairly harmless single that landed in center field or something. So he's done a good job with his curveball, but it really comes down to he just couldn't get his splitter. You know, there were several different times where he needed to land that splitter to get ahead in the count, and he couldn't quite do it. And I don't think his cutter/slider pitch is quite good enough, and especially if he's trying to pitch backwards in maybe fastball counts. So I thought he did a great job with his curveball. I thought he struggled a little bit with his splitter.
Yeah, and a lot of times, us as fans, or when the fan part of us comes out, we're pissed off about the home plate umpire. I thought the guy did a great job behind the plate. He was just missing. I mean, the box on TV proved it every time. So, yeah, he just missed. Like I say, one swing, he doubles the amount of earned runs he'd given up all year. That's how good he's been. And that's a credit to the Diamondbacks. So I thought the grand slam wasn't that bad a pitch. I mean, it wasn't. It wasn't center cut, whatever. It wasn't that bad a pitch. A guy's got power. Obviously, he's got 12 home runs already in the big league. So, he's a quality major league hitter. And I didn't think either home run was necessarily just a bad pitch. Like, oh crap, But it does happen in big league hitters.
It wasn't a great pitch, but I mean, it wasn't. Yeah.
No, I thought the grand slam was a little tougher pitch. Yeah, the solo by Marte it wasn't a great pitch there. But, that happens to everybody, but big league hitters will make you pay for that sort of thing.
Dodgers offense ended up with 9 runs, and I'll tell you what, you end up with the Shohei Ohtani home run in the 9th inning. You have, like you said, the go-ahead run on Andy Pages, which I thought it was interesting. They threw Andy Pages inside, both up and down, and he struggled with it. Mm-hmm. And he's covering the outside part of the plate. And by the way, Juan Murillo, he was the guy pitching in the 8th inning. He was in the Dodgers system from like 2018, I believe. Don't exactly quote me on that year, all the way up till last year. And after 6 years in the minor leagues, if you haven't been put on the 40-man roster, then you can choose free agency. So he chose to be a free agent last year. Murillo signed with the Diamondbacks, and now he's in the major league. So congratulations, Juan Murillo. I was super excited to see him. He had been teammates with Andy Pages many different times in the past, and I could not believe he threw him a slider on the outer half. It was like, thank you very much, Juan, because he can light it up 100, 101, and I just thought he was going to drill Andy on the inside part of the plate like the Diamondbacks had done all day, and he throws him a little kind of cement mixer on the outer half, and Andy goes the other way with it, and I'm thinking, here we go. The Dodgers are coming back.
Yeah, Murillo has a great arm, is proven by watching the game last night. But he was giving the Dodgers some hope there. He was missing enough, and he started out the inning good, and he started missing. And okay, here we go, we got our opportunity. And they did have an opportunity. So it did occur. They just didn't take advantage of it. That's the name of baseball. But yeah, it's good to see Murillo get his chance there. And like I said, got a little bit erratic after the start of the inning. He looked good starting out, but so you're hoping. Yeah, I'm glad the kid's getting his opportunity, but I sure would like to beat him right here, and didn't happen last night.
Yeah, that was Juan Murillo to a T. I mean, like literally you watch him throw to one hitter, and you're like, dude, why isn't this guy in the major leagues right now? Then you watch him throw 3 hitters later, and you're like, oh yeah. Well, that's it right there. Too many mistake pitches. And at the major league level, you just don't give the mistakes back. So it was good to see Max Muncy get that double in that inning, 2 hits last night. So the glasses, whatever you want to say, I don't care what it is, but it's really good to see Max Muncy. I kind of, with these veteran guys that Dodgers fans like to get frustrated with, like Chris Taylor, Austin Barnes, Conforto, Max Muncy, my point on them is they're going to be on this roster. So instead of thinking, who should we replace them with, it's better off we just root that they have success because they're going to be on this roster. So Muncy certainly is in that category. So it was great to see him, not just the 2 hits and the RBI double, but just the way he looked. I thought he looked really good at the plate.
No, I was thinking the same thing right before you said it. That's strange. We think the same way. Yeah. I'm the same way. These guys aren't going anywhere. So instead of, I've been guilty of myself going, who can we
I'm
get?
At the top of the list.
We can put them, we can get so-and-so. That ship's already sailed. The Dodgers have proven they're sticking with these guys. So like you said, Case, the best thing we can do is hope that they get it going right there. Muncy's been a run producer in past parts of his career, and we know he's got it in him. Hope he's still got it in him, and you just got to give what you give with the rest of those guys. Conforto's been a good major league hitter his entire career. It's just not there right now. So instead of sitting there going, the first thing is like, get him the hell out of there, get somebody else. You can hear the guy in the beer and a hot dog in the stands. Probably would have been me at some point, but get him the hell out of there, get somebody. It's not that easy. And the Dodgers are, they'll probably make some moves when it comes down the trade deadline. I don't know. Knowing then what they've done here in the recent past, I don't think they're going to try to stand pat. But for the moment, you better just hope these guys get better. You said it perfectly. You just got to hope these guys come along because they're our guys and they're going to be there. So we need them to come along.
Yeah, and there's no rush. I mean,
no.
I'm the most guilty of anybody of, well, we got to do this, we got to do that because we want one to be able to win the World Series. It's like, you always have to tell me, dude, it's freaking May, man. Just stop. I mean, it's like we have the best record in the major leagues. I mean, stop. I mean, just relax and enjoy the process. I know Coach Barikoff, I couldn't last year. Like, I couldn't enjoy any of the regular season games because it was just like, we got to win the World Series. It's a little bit better this year in terms of being able to relax as far as letting guys settle in and work through issues because we did win one last year. But I'm the world's worst at wanting to push that button. Hey, Ha-Seong Kim, coach, I have not got your thoughts on him. Absolutely electric. The double play started last night. We'll get into that here in a second. But your thoughts on Ha-Seong Kim? What
a talent. I mean, I know the Dodgers got him, a lot of fanfare, but they did the right thing by putting him in the minor leagues, let him work through some things. He's still got a few rough edges, but, man, just an electric talent. I think I mentioned on here last time, just by the first time I ever watched him, he looks like a guy that the teammates are going to like. Of course, I think Shohei, all those guys, their personality, just their personality look like they're so happy. They're so, they love their teammates. The teammates love them. They show them in the dugouts and they're all interacting, with an interpreter or whatever the heck they're doing over there, trying to understand each other. But what an electric player. And they keep talking about they're going to sit him back down. Probably do need to, but at some point. But then you look up and go, damn, I'd kind of like to keep that around, especially with Edmund out. I know we're going to get Tommy back pretty soon, but, this kid's getting some quality time. That's the great thing about it. We're seeing what flashes of what he can be, what he probably will be. He's not getting worse. He's not going to get worse by playing every day in Oklahoma City or playing every day in the big leagues. He's getting nothing but better. He does have some stuff he's got to work through, but talent-wise, the future looks very bright for him, and I'm glad he's a Dodger.
100%. So, Michael Kopech, we're going to move on to his rehab outing. In case you haven't heard, he faced 5 hitters last night and walked all 5, did not get an out, gave up 5 runs, ended up giving up 5 runs. So, just kind of your thought from just kind of put your coach's hat on here for a minute. Here you got a guy coming back who has had control issues in the past. He's coming off of rehab. I say all the time, rehabs aren't about results. They're about staying healthy. But at some point, when you're just not even getting the ball in the strike zone, you're kind of not getting anything done at that point. So the way that I classify what Kopech did last night is not worried about it. It's not like, oh my gosh, or anything like that. But I would say you really didn't accomplish anything other than he got him out and threw some pitches home. So what are your thoughts on the Kopech deal?
Well, same thing. All rehab starts the same way. You go down, the first thought when you say, hey, Clayton Kershaw's pitching in Oklahoma City, he's going to go out and strike everybody out. Well, that's not the case. He don't do that. He gives up some hits. Like you said, it's getting work in and staying healthy and working on things. And the same thing with Kopech. I mean, the guy's a great talent. You said that he's had some history, of being a little bit wild. I'm like you. I'm not concerned with that, but it also is a little concerning.
I hate what did you get accomplished last night? Kind of be my point.
Like you said, you just got some work in. You could have done the same thing in the bullpen, and that's the other part about it. I don't know Michael. I don't know what his makeup is mentally, but that's going to screw with a guy a little bit. I just went out in a rehab start and walked everybody, and they all scored. So
I don't care if it's an inner squad. You don't like doing that. That's what I'm saying.
Out there against air, you don't want to walk 5 people, and you're throwing a bullpen. Hell, you don't want to miss on everything you throw. So but hopefully he's a man that understands. I'm working to get back. I've got work to do. I'm not there, obviously, anywhere close. I'm just going to keep plugging. And most of those guys, if they've been big leaguers or they've been successful at any level, they usually have the mental makeup they've got some toughness about them or they wouldn't be where they are. Yeah. And, I feel good about that. But, look forward to the next time he pitches. Hope you see some improvement there. But, they're always going to look for, is he healthy? Where's the velo at? Is he landing some pitches? Or, that's the rehab start. I mean, you're thinking, Kershaw's going to strike out everybody at Rancho. Well, no, he's not going to do that, because that's not what he's trying to do, and that's not what he's going to do. So you just want to get those guys getting their work in, but that's a little concerning, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best way I can put it. Not ready to scrap the guy, but
Sure.
I'd like to. Can't wait for the next one. Hope it's better.
Yeah. So the AAA manager at Oklahoma City, Scott Hennessy, they call him Henny. You know him very, very, very well. Okay. So if you're Scott Hennessy and you go out and you just got promoted to AAA as a manager, and you go out to take the ball from Michael Kopech, who just walked the first 5 guys.
Yeah.
What the hell do you say to him as you take the ball from him? I mean, like what is it? Do you plan what you're going to say, or you just say, hey, man, we'll get him tomorrow? What do you say to a guy like that?
Yeah, hey, man, get them tomorrow. I mean, that's all you can say.
Right,
That's we've all said that in baseball. You're looking. He's thrown the number of pitches, whatever their plan was for him going in there. Certain number of pitches they want him to throw. Blah blah blah. The results are you're just going to live whatever the hell that is. In his case, it wasn't very good, but Henny's just got to go out there, and Henny's got a great personality. He's a baseball guy through and through. We love the guy, and I'm sure he just say, hey man, we'll worry about it next time. Don't worry about it. Just take the ball from him and go on. You're not going to surely not going to make a big deal out of it. And knowing Henny, he's got a relationship with Kopech. He's been with the Dodgers long enough, and that he's got some sort of relationship prior to that. And he probably handled it very well, I'm assuming.
Yeah, 100%. So, hey, Coach, it's been great to see you. Final thoughts. It's the Roki Sasaki tonight against Eduardo Rodriguez. As you said just a minute ago, hey, we're going to try it all again tomorrow. Tomorrow is today. That's one of the beautiful things of baseball is that you get to do it again the next day. We don't have to sit around and bitch and moan like you and I like to do about the Thunder if it's like a 5-day layoff, right? We get to get right back at it the next day. So your thoughts of Sasaki against Rodriguez tonight and the Dodgers getting after it again?
I feel a lot like you mentioned earlier, but last year, as a fan sitting here in Stillwater, Oklahoma, I felt pressure for the Dodgers because they built this team to win the World Series. They've got to win the World Series.
They got to win the first one. The first one.
Everybody wants to asterisk the 2021, even though it's tough as hell to win that one. They won that one, but whatever the case may be, they got to win. And you look up but now after the process, we realize how tough that season was. Mm-hmm. By that I mean they were in a pennant race right down to the end. I think that's the reason they won the World Series, in my opinion, that they had to battle, fought through injuries, brought new guys up, pieced whatever they had to do there. And the bullpen game the World Series, for Christ's sakes, which nobody ever does. And it was successful. So in the playoffs, then the World Series also. So, but this year, I'm like you. We've got a championship. I'm not happy that, it's not like, well, we got one now, we can move on. But the pressure is all thinking, okay, we've accomplished what we went to last year, and this year's going to be the same way. Our division is insane, and I couldn't have it. I wouldn't want it any other way. Whoever wins our division, I'll be honest with you, whoever wins our division is probably going to win the World Series because they're going to be so damn battle tested. The people are playing all the time. I would go out. That's not really going out on a limb. Did last year. If we didn't win it, the Padres are probably going to win it. So I think it's the same thing this year. So. You as you look ahead, you're thinking, God dang, it's going to be fun, because we do have that one, the title in our back pocket. Again, we're not satisfied, and I know the Dodgers aren't. They're not standing pat. Neither are we, but this is going to be fun. I mean, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a battle. You can't just, kick back and smoke a cigar and let everything happen. It ain't going to happen that way. You got to the Dodgers are going to battle their guts out to the last day of the season again this year, and that's. In the big scheme of things, as you look back in recent history, wouldn't have it any other way. So I look forward to the next game with the Diamondbacks, and they got an outstanding team. I mean, they have been. They have been for the last couple. They kind of stubbed their toe a little bit last
dangerous.
Year. They're very dangerous. They kind of stubbed their toe a little bit last year, but they didn't. They're not going away, and we damn sure know the Giants and the Padres aren't. So this is fun stuff. I'll say that now. If we go 5-15 against those guys, I'll be pissed off. But I'll still say the same thing. This is fun. As a baseball purist, battle your guts out every day you come to the park. You got a chance of winning. You got a chance of getting your ass beat too. So
you do.
Can't wait for the next game and go Dodgers.
Yeah, definitely. We saw 2 years ago the Arizona Diamondbacks can get very, very hot. And have the talent to do that down the stretch. So, hey, Coach, I love you. It's great to see your face.
Yeah, I love you too, Case. As always, look forward to Wednesday and Friday mornings. I would never think about getting up early is that exciting, but I always know I can talk baseball with you, talk about the Dodgers, and go out to our Dodger dogs who are the best in the world.
Yeah. So, hey, don't go away. We have a great Down the Farm segment. We're talking about Mike Ceroda, Eduardo Quintero, who is leading the Cal League in home runs. We're going to talk about the rest of the Oklahoma City game. Some great action at Great Lakes, so don't go away. Next up is Down on the Farm. So let's not waste more time. Let's get right to it. Let's take a trip down the farm. Welcome to Dodgers Daily Down on the Farm. We're going to start in Rancho Cucamonga, the single A level like we do each and every time. Look at that big breaking ball from Sterling Paddock, who threw last night, and then the high-riding four-seam that you're seeing there for the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes. That is a big, big sweeping slider there. That's a sweeper. Actually, that's a new pitch to him. He just started throwing that sweeper this year, and then there's that slider there. So that sweeper that you're seeing, that right turn, is something new to Sterling Paddock, who is a 19-year-old that was drafted in the 2023 draft in the 18th round. He turned in a really good start last night for Rancho. 4 innings pitched, 2 hits, no runs, 5 strikeouts, and no walks. So West Covina High School, if you remember Jacob Amaya, the Dodgers had a couple of years ago, same high school as Jacob Amaya there in West Covina. Lots of great baseball played there. So the overall mix for Sterling Paddock, 4-seam fastball, a cutter, a curveball, and a changeup, and then the sweeper you've seen. I think a couple of sweepers probably are curveballs. There's a little bit of crossover there. Like I said, the sweeper is new to him. Fastball is 93 to 95. He's topped out at 96. That cutter that you're seeing there is 89 91. Curveball is 74 to 76, and the change is 84 to 86. So a lot of just bridging there. So you have a bunch of different layers of speeds. That's what I was kind of talking about with Bobby Miller the other day, is that he has very fast and he has 10 miles an hour off that fast and then nothing in between. That's what I really like about Paddock, is that he has a lot of bridging to the way that he does his velo. And also, hey, Alex Makarowicz, we mentioned him, and Sean Paul Leon got the call up to Great Lakes. I've told you that many times that Makarowicz, which he's done this year when he figures out the execution piece, he definitely is a Rolodex type dude. So congratulations to Alex Makarowicz and also Sean Paul Leon, who has been the best pitcher in the minor leagues. I think that's probably, I haven't looked at every single pitcher that's pitched every single game this year, but I would probably have to say that that is a fairly accurate statement to make as far as Sean Paul Leon being one of the best, or the best pitcher in the minor leagues. And this is right here, Mike Ceroda. 3 hits again last night, and all 3 were up the middle. If you have paid attention whatsoever to Mike Ceroda, this is no surprise. This dude wears out the middle of the field. I mean, look at that. I mean, just right back up the box. He doesn't care if it's a hard ground ball. He doesn't care if it's a line. Of course, he'd prefer a line drive, but what he wants is the ball up the middle, because that's the biggest part of the field. That's the part of the field where the defense has to cover the most. And so, therefore, the odds would tell you that's where most of your base hits are going to come from, the most amount. So I love the fact that Ceroda uses the middle of the field. We've talked about he needs to be in Great Lakes. The Dodgers have a log jam there. We'll see if they can move Jose Ramos, who is still hitting very well in the Dodger system, and get Mike Ceroda up to Great Lakes. So, again, 3 hits last night, 348. He has the second highest batting average of anybody in the Cal League, and he leads the Cal League in on-base plus slugging, OPS, at 1066. So, super advanced young man in terms of just gathering hits, his approach at the plate, using the middle of the field, absolutely super, super advanced approach for Mike Ceroda, way more advanced than the level that he's at. But, hey, we're going to continue to deal with the level that you're at and just keep grinding and wait for that call to get up to Great Lakes. So this is Eduardo Quintero, one of the top outfield prospects in all of baseball, not just with the Dodgers. This is a young man that is super talented. So if just as a casual prospects fan, if you're to say, hey, what is the calling card of Eduardo Quintero? And I think almost everybody would say, well, he has blazing speed. He's another one of these really fast guys in the Dodgers system. But how about this? Eduardo Quintero hit his 8th, that one right there, his 8th home run of the year last night. and that leads the Cal League. So one of the fastest guys in the Cal League also leads the league in home runs. So you say, okay, great. Well, I don't necessarily want my really fast guy being a home run guy. How about this? He's also hitting .295, and his OPS is .966. So Eduardo Quintero is doing just an absolutely great job. He is living, it's called as advertised, is what Eduardo Quintero is doing for Rancho Cucamonga this year. So congratulations to him on a great start for the Quakes there. And so we're going to move up now to the single A level, and this is Josue DePaula. 2 doubles last night. Boy, I'll tell you what, if he can start hitting a bunch of doubles with the way that he hits, I'm telling you, Josue DePaula is doing things I have never seen before. From a bases on balls to strikeout ratio, from a strikeout ratio to a power index ratio, things I've never seen before. He's hitting .375 in the 7 games he's played this month. So DePaula is definitely on a heater right now. And he's walked the exact same amount of times he struck out this month. He's actually walked more this year than he has struck out. He had 2 doubles last night. DePaula, one of the top outfield prospects in all of baseball. .288 OPS, .912. So Josue DePaula continues to just keep on keeping on with his just great, legendary type work he's doing here in 2024. Because, again, I've never seen guys put a stat sheet as far as balls to strike, walks to strikeouts that he has. And this is, hey, good to see Wyatt Kroll back on the bump and pitching really well. Kroll had the Tommy John a couple years ago, got back off the Tommy John last year in July, and really kind of finished pretty strong. Built some momentum coming into this year. It's been a slow start for Kroll, so it was good to see him have a good start last night. 5 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs, 5 strikeouts, 3 walks, and his ERA now is, last year actually, I talked about the fast start he got back off the Tommy John. He posted a .231 in July, .270 in August, and so that second year back, sometimes there's a little bit of a process getting your feels back, so it was good to see Wyatt Kroll back in action with that big old sweeping slider. 5 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs, and doing a great job for the Great Lakes Loons, a team that is, I tell you what, I'm not sure there is a team in minor league baseball that is more exciting than the Loons. You talk about all the position players. And then this guy, we haven't talked about Cam Day all year. One of my favorite pitch mixes, and then a guy, again, that just totally understands all the sequencing very well. Piggyback starters. So you got the 5 innings from Wyatt Kroll, then you got 4 innings from Cam Day. 2 starters, one went 5, the other went 4. Cam Day, how about this? 4 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 4 strikeouts, 2 walks. Just the movement that Cam Day gets on his pitches is simply fantastic because it's very late, it's very sharp, and it's very tough to hit. That 4-seam right there has been up to 99, but typically speaking, it's 94 to 96. He also has a cutter, slider, change, and curveball. So a complete mix. It's definitely a starter's mix for Cam Day, no doubt about that. And it was good to see him. Hey, again, he's another one of those guys that has really nasty stuff. When he's in the strike zone, he gets a lot of outs. So Double A Tulsa had a doubleheader yesterday. Jose Ramos keeps hitting the ball. Jared Quiros had another rough outing where he gave up 5 runs. So not a whole lot to talk about on the Double A Tulsa front. So we are going to move all the way up to AAA Oklahoma City. This is Michael Chavis. Really cool. I had a chance to talk to Michael yesterday. Had a chance to interview him. What a wonderful, wonderful young man. And listening to a guy who has over 1,000 major league at-bats. Just listening to them talk about their journey, how they have come to deal with the business side of baseball and how to separate that from just the playing baseball side. It's a fascinating interview from his perspective. All I did was ask questions. Michael Chavis, when I released that interview, take a listen to it because you'll be smarter after it than you were before in terms of how baseball works and how these veterans view baseball. So it's good to see Michael Chavis. If you ever talk to this guy, he makes you want to root for him. And so definitely, .299, OPS 914, 100% rooting for this dude. And so Michael Chavis, it was good to see him have a good night last night on the same night that I got a chance again to talk to him and interview him. So that was super fun. And then this guy right here, Justin Jarvis, had the not so envious task of coming in after Michael Kopech, who had the, I don't want to, no rehab's disastrous if you come out of it healthy, but certainly not the way that Michael Kopech wanted it to go, where he just couldn't get the ball in the strike zone. But hey, it's like, we'll try it again tomorrow, right? For Michael Kopech or whenever the next rehab outing is. And this is Justin Jarvis. He came in and he really stabilized things. You can see 5-0 already. That's all from Michael Kopech's rehab outing. Jarvis, 3 innings pitched, 2 hits, no runs, 3 strikeouts, and 2 walks. So Justin Jarvis did a really good job. He has not pitched in a couple of weeks, just trying to manage the workload there. And so good job last night for Justin Jarvis, who did a good job coming in a very difficult situation and stabilizing the game for AAA Oklahoma City. No doubt about that. And like I said, he's just a guy that, hey, give me the ball, coach. It doesn't matter when, where, whatever it may be. Justin Jarvis just wants to have the chance to pitch. And this is another guy that I've really come to like. Very tough to hit. Another guy similar to Cam Day. Great stuff, great late movement. I call that a heavy ball, if you will. Sam Carlson, but yet another guy that, hey, got to get the ball in the strike zone more consistently if you want to be a guy that the Dodgers are going to rely on for a major league type deal. But I can tell you, Sam Carlson that you're seeing here has really, really good stuff. Just got to keep it in the zone. So how about his good stuff? ERA 3.0, but his average against is just 169. So that goes to show just how hard he is to hit when his ball is in the strike zone. And he's had 3 really good outings in May so far. So he's building momentum, stacking outings. He's given up just 1 run in 5 1/3 innings so far in May. 2 innings pitched last night for Sam Carlson. No hits, no runs, 3 strikeouts, and a walk. And I want to finish this evening, this Down on the Farm segment. Save the best for last, because at least for today, because my man Jose Rodriguez made his AAA debut last night, and it was super successful. Hey, he struck out. That's Trevor Boone, Oklahoma State boy right there. I actually messaged Trevor last night. I'm going to interview Trevor for my O-State Daily side. I was like, yeah, Jose Rodriguez, a lot of extension plus changeup. Ball turns left sometimes. He goes, yeah, that at bat was a grind, that one you just saw. So can't wait to talk to Trevor tonight. Trevor actually hit a home run in that Bricktown ballpark in 2019 to send Oklahoma State to the Super Regionals. I will never forget that moment. But hey, Jose Rodriguez, AAA debut, 2 innings pitched, no hits, no runs, 4 strikeouts, 1 walk. Welcome to Oklahoma City, Jose. Fastball was 96-97. Change was plus as always. Slider cut/cutter pitch, always a great complimentary pitch. So super excited to see Jose Rodriguez 1 step away from the major leagues, a young man that had the highest swinging strike percentage of any pitcher in the Dodger system last year. So big time, you see that plus change up there. Big time swing and miss stuff from T-Boo, Jose Rodriguez, and that's going to do it for today's Down on the Farm. As always, you Dodgers dogs are the best. So my name is Casey Porter, and as always, it's a great day to be a Dodger.